This week is a fun and lighthearted episode with Deborah Graham, the star of the TLC series The Psychic Matchmaker. Deborah shares 6 secrets to manifest wealth and success, plus, she does a little reading for a guest. She is a character. You're going to love her. But she actually shares some really intriguing information. Did you know that the planets are perfectly aligned for manifesting your deepest desires in 2025? After the show, don't forget to grab my free whole food plant based cookbook at wellelephant.com so you can start adding some more meals that result in health, weight loss, and reversing disease. That's wellelephant.com. And thank you for continuing to share this podcast with your friends. We are in the top 10% of all podcasts in the entire world. It just blows my mind, and I truly appreciate you. Well, now enjoy Deborah Graham. Hi, friends. I'm Lauren Bernick, and I'm flipping the script about growing older. My guests have been influencers since before that was even a thing. Welcome to the Anti-Aging Podcast. Welcome to Age Like a Badass Mother. For more than 30 years, Deborah Graham has been predicting people's innermost thoughts and dreams, looking for answers. She is a professional spiritualist, advisor, and psychic matchmaker. As the star of the TLC series, The Psychic Matchmaker, Graham is known throughout the U.S. and in 150 countries. In 2023, she launched her podcast, The Psychic Connection with Deborah Graham. She also hosts a show on SiriusXM Network by the same name. Today, she's going to talk to us about manifesting health, wealth, and success and do some readings. For more information, please visit psychicdeborahgraham.com. Hello, welcome,
Thank you so
Deborah.
much for having me. I really appreciate it. This is exciting.
I really appreciate. Oh man, me too. So, I usually mark my podcasts explicit, but I just want to warn anybody who's driving around with kids, like this might not be the one that they want to listen to because I've listened to Deborah. She is free flowing and
I say it like it is. I give you what I call the good, the bad, the ugly, and then I like to call it a Deborah Graham enema in between.
Okay, I'm ready for my enema. So should we? Do you want to start by doing readings, or do you want to
Whatever
start by
you
questions?
want, whatever you want me to do, however you want to roll, I'm here for you.
Let me just ask you a couple questions first. But how did you first know that you were psychic?
Well, I like to say it's a blessing and a curse because it's something I've been born with. I've been doing this for, oh my God, almost 40 years now. And it is a third generation. It was my grandmother, my mother, and me. So, of course, when I started seeing things or having premonitions, like most people would be like, take them to the psychiatrist, put them on, some kind of medication to stop that because they're crazy and they're hallucinating. No, my mom, my grandma actually promoted it. They were like, okay, she has the ability to feel, to see, to know, to whatever. And the older I got, the stronger it became. So it came through visions. It came through dreams. I was speaking to loved ones that I've never met before. I've never met my grandpa, and I knew, what he looked like. I would say things. I would be talking to him. Of course, I would see some things that were bad. I would say like, oh my God, the next door neighbor's house is going to catch on fire. I seen this vision. And of course, a few days later it happened and it wasn't me. I'm telling you. So like crazy premonitions like that would happen. And then the older I got, it just became so much more potent. And this is what been my life's work and my life's purpose is to help people connect. I like to call myself the human weed whacker.
Why is the human weed whacker?
Because so many people have so much cluttering in their life that they can't seem to get away from their own weeds. And what they do is they put these blockages in front of them, whether they're looking for love or finances or trying to raise their vibration, or they just feel emotionally stuck. I basically help them muddle through that, not only on a physical level, but a spiritual level, because I'm able to see your future and actually bring it into the present tense. So that's why I call myself a human weed whacker. I basically clear the way so they're able to be whole, perfect, and complete and actually root their self and start all over again. Because to me, there's no problems. There's only a solution.
Oh, I like that. I like that there's only a solution. I was going to ask you if you had, your mother or your grandmother or somebody else was psychic in your family, because I have found that sort of is usually the case. And I think when I was little, I lived in like a very haunted apartment in New York.
Ooh.
It was like a pre-war, and I could see things, and it scared the crap out of
Oh,
me when I was a
yeah,
little
because
kid.
that energy comes in, and whether you're connecting with a loved one or another spirit, but you gotta remember where there's good, there's bad. You're gonna feel those things. So, you had a lot of psychic premonitions, and you should continue that spiritual journey because people who are clairvoyant or empaths, as I am, connected, you don't wanna block that. I know it's sometimes a bit scary, but you wanna encourage it and use that because if that can help you move forward and get to the next level in life, then that's basically a gift from God.
How do you I feel like I definitely shut it down, and I remember talking to my mom about it, and she said that, she has it too. I have a lot of visits or what dreams, that are
Yeah,
visits
yeah,
from
yeah.
loved ones. And, as a matter of fact, I've told this story that, my stepfather after my stepfather passed, I was close with him, and he came and he visited me in a dream, and he said, "Tell your mother I love her and tell her the
Oh.
papers she's looking for are in the filing cabinet." So I told my mom the next day, and she goes, "I already looked in the filing cabinet." I'm like,
Oh
"Well, look
my
again." And she's like, "Oh, here they are."
Wow. See, Laura, that's telling you you're connecting with your higher self and your collective soul. So you have a very strong third eye. And because it is in your family's lineage, it's in your DNA, it's like you're born with this. All of us
Mhm.
have a premonition, like meaning like you have a gut feeling like, oh, that doesn't feel right. But sometimes we don't listen to our guts and we go through it. And then we're like, oh, should have listened to my own intuition. That's your own intuition. That's your Gita. That's the energy to connect you to God and God consciousness or spirit or whatever you call it. But so many of us don't pay attention, and you did. So you need to continue that. That's probably part of your journey, what you're doing right now.
Yeah. How do you develop that?
Well, you have it, and then you just continue growing it. That means you listen, you pay attention to the signs, just like you told your mom and you had that vision about those papers. That's what you asked. You asked the universe, whether you call them Allah, master, teacher, creator. I like to call it the committee, and ask them to help you, guide you. See, so many people get stuck in their relationships or stuck in their job or stuck in their fears that they can't seem to get out of their own head, that they actually hold on to that fear. And that's why I call it the Gita, because the Gita is the energy to connections to spirit. It's the energy of the awakening consciousness. And when you're opening up that third chakra, the third chakra is your belly button, and that's the color yellow. So visualizing the color yellow 3 to 4 minutes at night, opening it up and asking your spirit guides to help you and lead you and teach you or learn you whatever it is that you're here to basically explore or learn. That's the best way that I could really say it.
Okay, through meditate. I do
Yeah.
that with meditation sometimes. I'm
Yeah.
trying. I'm trying to be more open to it because I think I really scared myself when I was a kid. I
Yeah, but
mean,
you have it, Laura. And another thing, meditation, people think that it has to be chimes and bells and it has to be all this like fancy stuff. It does not. You can take a walk in the woods. Heck, you can do it in the shower, man. Just clear your mind, set still, and inhale and exhale. Breath work is so important. And that's another thing I teach people breathing, energy, clearing and just really finding their source of energy because that's what it's about. Even health, as wellness and health, you can cure yourself from any cancers, diseases. I mean, heck, the doctor told me earlier in the year that I had lupus, and I was like, screw that. I'm not
I'm
accepting that.
not having lupus.
Because I had a flu back around December, earlier than December, November, and it triggered all these autoimmune diseases like ridiculously. Like, I'm talking like, rashes on my body, hot sweats, flashing, burning, weakness, body aches, muscle aches. I mean, you name it. I was like, I am not accepting it. Although my ANA came back positive and they tested me and they were like, okay, it looks like you got lupus. I'm like, nope, delete, 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 cancel, cancel, clear. Of course, I do work with very powerful intentional healers, and they were like, we're clearing it up. And of course, it took a regimen of, exercising, taking care of yourself, setting your mind intentions. And guess what? I did 5 tests, no lupus. I'm clear. I'm back to normal. And they still haven't been able to diagnose me and tell me, well, this is what you have. I was like, that was a freaking psychic attack. I do not accept it and I cleared it out. It's the same thing with any illnesses. You can release it, but if you give in to its power, it can actually create other health issues. So I released it.
Wow. I mean, that's crazy. So if somebody has like a bad diagnosis, they could
Yeah,
just
of course. Absolutely. It's up to you whether you want to step into your power and live or you want to allow that energy to take control. And of course, going and taking your right supplements, going to your doctors. I believe in Eastern, I believe in Western, I believe in it all. And I believe in the power of prayer. Prayer is your key ingredient. And listening again to that third chakra. We're going to talk about this a lot because that third chakra is your awareness, your action, your acceptance. It's kind of like you're planting a seed to a new beginning, because when you start to allow those old traumas and those old fears and those old emotions, you're going to pedal backwards and basically go back right to where you were, basically, in the sewer pipe. You don't want that.
You know what? We've talked about the mind body connection a lot on this podcast, and I firmly believe in it. I think that it's incredible to know how much your health is really in your hands. It's almost scary, you
Yeah, it
know?
is. And you should use your ability. I mean, my gosh, you have it. You could tune that in your show as well. You have this. I feel it. You've been born what they call like that veil, that golden aura. And you do have three loved ones, Laura. They're watching over you. You have two males and a female watching over you. Okay. And these are blood related. So it could be, father, grandfather, whoever it is. They're stepping into your power and they're holding your space. And then you have this female energy that's watching over you as well. And that means that you might, from time to time, see dimes, nickels, quarters, pennies on heads. You'll know that it's telling you to move forward. And if you see them on
Mm.
tails, it means take a step back. But pay attention to the number 7788, like nines, 7, 8, nines. Like it's interesting. Seven,
Oh
eights, and
my god.
nines. Those are your master numbers.
Okay, look, let me show you this.
What?
If for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I did your soul contract decoded, and 7 7 and 8 8 are like primary
There
things in
you
there for
go.
me.
There you go. It's all about
Isn't that funny
balancing.
that you just said that? 7
Because
7 and 8
I'm an
8, and it
energy
was
tap it. I tapped into your energy.
mhm.
You allowed me to, and it comes through. It's just, we're wired to connect. That's how people used to communicate, back in the caveman days. If you go back, they didn't have cell phones. We didn't have all this database. We're so connected and yet we're so disconnected. Go back to the basics, listening to your intuition, and don't give up on love. Love never gives up on us. Why should we give up on it? Right? And stuff.
Yes. Yes, yes. Can you speaking of, can okay, so I have my friend Kim on with us today. We normally don't have other people, but Kim's here. Can you give Kim a little reading?
Absolutely, Kim. So just set two intentions, whatever they may be: love, money, sex. Quite frankly, I don't give a hoot. They're your intentions.
Okay.
And give me just your month and date if you don't mind, so I could go deep into your soul. Just month and date only,
Sep-
Kim.
September 19.
Woo, you're going through a lot of trial and error right now, but it shows that you're going to get through this about 6 to 8 months, unfortunately. But as you go through this, Kim, you're finally going to see the light at the end of the tunnel, because it's kind of been like this black cloud, no offense, around you. And it's coming in from other
Okay.
people. It's not something, it's someone. Okay. Do you
Okay.
think you might know who that person could be that you need to kind of clear out of your energy field? Because they're in your energy right now.
I don't know. Maybe my
I
ex-husband.
was
I
getting
don't
ready to say,
know.
because it could be an ex, because I feel like that energy is enabling you, right? And I feel like once you can clear that, and even though he's not a bad person, he just wasn't your person. Do you get what I'm saying? But
Right.
he still is sucking on
100%.
your titties, girl. He's still sucking on that energy field. No
Get
offense.
him off your
Okay. And
titties.
because of
Get him
that,
off.
your energy is not able to move on. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have
Yeah.
to go back. We
Yeah.
just talked about it with Laura. You got to go back to the Gita, because the Gita is the energy to connect you to God and God consciousness, but it's also to give you that aha moment and really be connected, so you are connected. Now, the great news is I do see two rings. How many times you been married there, Miss Lady? Three? Well, one must have came in wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, because one just was like a bat out of hell, because it's only showing two.
Yes.
So was one
That's
really
true.
short?
One was very short.
There you go. So maybe we don't need to continue looking for somebody to be there for you. You need to be there for them, for yourself and for them, and helping them,
Yes.
because I really believe that your calling right now, Kim, is to help other people. You're a people person helping
Mhm.
people. In fact, you should have your own business. Have you considered that at all?
I used to. I used
So
to.
maybe that's something you want to step back into your power. I feel like the last 5 years, and no offense, I feel like you've been kind of sort of in the middle of the ocean, no paddle, no engine. You're just kind of like there. I don't feel, Kim, that you're really at a happy place or an unhappy place. I feel like you're just kind of like in an in between. Would you agree or disagree? Be honest.
Fully agree.
And I feel that as spirit is leading you, I feel like that rekindle flame. I feel like that love is coming in. Okay. I feel a
Okay.
partner. So I do see a lover. I do see a friend. I do see a companion. So basically, you're going to get those cobwebs out of your second chakra, if you know what I'm saying, in your Kajivi girlfriend. And I feel that love is there, but I feel like you're still holding on. You have a frozen heart. Do you mind me asking you why is that, Kim? Because it
I'm
shows
scared to get
betrayal.
hurt. I'm afraid to get hurt.
Did he betray you, the ex? In which way did he
And
betray you? Because there's betrayal there.
yes, yes, yes. All of them have betrayed me in many, many different ways.
So
But
you
his
have the
was
loser
more
magnet on
just,
your forehead. I'm sorry, Kim. You're attracting this because there's no freaking way that you keep attracting that kind of vibration. Do you get what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you have to work on that. You have to stop
yeah.
fixing everybody. It's okay to be there for them, as I said in the beginning, but it's not okay to allow them to take your power because I feel like they've deflated you. You were like this beautiful, big, fluffy balloon. And now, excuse me, I'm burping. Most psychics get chills. I burp, so I apologize. That's a winner, winner, chicken dinner. And because of that, Kim, you're not allowing yourself to move forward because you are a deflated freaking balloon. Do you understand that? Do you feel sometimes just like there's no energy in your body anymore?
Well, yes, yes, and I do. I have been out of my power in the relationships. There was differences in age and finances and social standing, and so I'm looking for more of coming out of my shell and figuring out. I have been single and living by myself almost, pretty much for 3 years. So
That's
I'm
okay. So the last 5 years,
pushing that
right.
forward.
So when did you get the divorce?
The divorce legally maybe like a year and a half ago, but I've been on my own for 3 years.
Okay, but you knew up until about 5 years ago, I need to get out of here because if I don't, I'm going to be screwed, lewd, and tattooed.
Yes,
That's what Spirit's
yes.
saying. And because of that, Kim, it's okay to have fun. So maybe necessarily we don't need a ring and a priest. We don't need to be married. Okay. But we can have a
No.
partner because maybe you're just not marriage material anymore. Been there, seen it, done it. No offense. And not everybody's meant to be married. That's an okay thing,
Yeah,
Kim.
yeah,
But
yeah.
at the same reality, I feel that as you are opening up and you're awakening your energy, the stars are in line. Okay. And those stars are coming up. Believe it or not, it shows September 23, September 23 of
Interesting.
2025. So those numbers are coming in like numerology, energetically. It's about you stepping back into your power, starting another business,
Yeah.
and don't let your life rule you. You got to rule it. You got to take the bull by the horns, girl. And you got to use the word, I can do it. Does that resonate?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm an artist. I've been working on my artwork
Good. So you
and
are still doing your own work because you're doing your business because it's
yes.
there. It keeps showing it. And that's your creative
Yeah.
energy. You're like a cat. By the way,
Yeah.
that's your totem spirit. You like your four corners.
Oh my gosh. Can you explain a little more about that?
Well, that means that you're a cat. You have 9 lives, and that is your totem spirit. That's your energy. Okay. I want to call you like the
Nice.
cat lady. Okay. That's your energy. That's
Okay.
your vibration. And because of that, you're not the type of person that likes people to come up at you right up in your face all the time. You don't have to be touched, hugged all the time. You want love, but you like your four corners. Does that resonate?
Other people would say, but I've met somebody now who I really am enjoying getting to
Good,
know.
good. And take time
Yeah.
and make time. Don't rush into anything. This is the year
Yeah.
of opening. This is your year of action. This is your year of acceptance, Kim. But it's really your year to forgive the ex. Okay. And that's something you're
Mhm.
going to tell me, "Oh, I've forgiven him." No, you haven't. I'm sorry.
Right, right.
Okay.
Okay, I see. I
So
see.
it's
You're right.
there.
You're right.
And I feel that what you need to do now, this is spiritual. No wishing anybody
Yeah.
any bad. We're not doing any kind of weird voodoo shit because I don't believe in any
Yeah.
of that. This all comes from spirit and God. But what you want to do is take a piece of paper, and anybody, listening to your show right now, Laura, they could do the same thing if they're going through an emotional relationship, a detox, a clearing. Take that person's name with red ink on a piece of paper, white sheet of paper, and start from the bottom. Most people start writing from the top to the bottom. I want you to go, Kim, from the bottom going upwards. Write his name 9 times going away, like you're releasing him. You're basically saying thank you for not being the person I needed you to be. Thank you for being
Right.
unloving, unwanted. Thank you for being the narcissist. Thank you for being the betrayal. And thank you for allowing me to step into my power and
Yes.
live and let go. So you're going to write those, affirmations because this is the thing that's happening. I'm not even asking you, I'm telling you. Does that sound right?
What not? Yes, I'm sure.
So when you get that, Kim, you start writing and releasing. Then what you do is you take that piece of paper after you wrote his name and you said those 9 affirmations, connecting with your soul, your contract. So basically, you're thanking him for being a jerk. Okay.
Yeah,
Don't look at the bad, look at the positive because, hey, you weren't
right.
the person I needed you to be. I wanted something that I was in love with the thought of wanting to be in love, maybe not necessarily you. And I thought you were the one, but you weren't the one. And that's okay because now I'm working and feeding back into my own energy. So then you take
Yes.
that piece of paper, fold it up, put it at the foot of your bed. Do not put it at the head. The reason
Okay.
why, Kim, if you put it at the head of your bed, you're actually bringing his energy back in. You don't want that. So put it at the head, leave it there for 9 days because 9 is a master number. In Yiddish, 9 and 9 is 18. So it's all about a spiritual mitzvah, a cleansing, a healing, a clearing, getting rid of the old, the worn out. So put it at the foot of the bed. Leave it there for 9 days. At the end of the 9 days, you could do two things with it. You could cut it up, flush it down the toilet, or you could actually take it and bury it back into the earth, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. So you're basically sending him almost like energetically out of your way, but you're forgiving him, but you're also forgiving yourself and saying it was a
Yeah.
lesson, Kim. This is what it's about. This is what
Yeah.
I do on the Psychic Connection podcast with Deborah Graham. This is why people call me. They ask me for advice. They ask me for help because, like I said, and going back to Laura, what is a weed whacker? I just basically gave her a weed whacker.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. That's
Amazing.
that's good. Thank you. Can you do you have any questions, Kim?
Well, that was really good. Thank you so much. I don't know if you see anything else or have any last parting
The
words or
main
any
thing
other
is
thing you.
love the one you're with yourself because no man, no woman, no one will ever give us what we need unless we give it back to ourselves. And I do feel this reconnected flame. So this guy could be in the running act. I feel good about him. I like this person
Okay, good.
energetically. So, but I really feel like it's really your year to step into your power about your work. To me, this year is more about work and power and energy more than love. It's okay to have love, but I really want you to step back into your work and because you're an artist and you're collective and you're and
Yes.
you're
Incredible
interesting
artist.
and you love what you do and you are the cat person because you do have those cats. You're like a lion, okay? You're a tiger, you're a lion. And no matter what, Kim, you always come up on always all fours. You're a lover, not a fighter. You have such great energy, by the way. And I feel like your art
Oh, thank you.
actually heals people. Like the energy is amazing, and it's all
Oh,
connecting
thank
with
you.
nature. So that's your cat energy. You have to be out there in the woods, girl.
Yeah.
So get out there and go put your feet into the earth, take those shoes off and really ground yourself in the first chakra. That is the root
I
energy.
like it.
The root
Okay.
chakra.
Thank you for your
No, and
advice.
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
And listen,
Greatly
anybody who comes on
appreciated.
the show, Laura or you, Kim, you'll get 50% off. Just mention that we were on Laura's show and
Okay.
you're going to get your own one-on-one psychic reading. Or if you ever want to just come on the podcast, The Psychic Connection with Deborah Graham and give us some feedback. We want to learn. We want to hear,
Yeah.
want to know
You
what's happening and come
Okay.
back to Laura too and let us know what's happening, girl.
Okay.
yeah. People can call into your show and
Absolutely. They
get
could call in,
readings
they could get readings, and if they want to do a
and they can
one-on-one,
also
whatever they feel.
right.
Because listen, not everybody is as brave as Kim was today to kind of like launched herself out. Because again, I never would know what's going to come out. But of course, if you're open, you're bold, and you're up to that type of thing, because we listen, the stuff that goes on my show, I can't make this stuff up if I wanted to. I
It's
mean, the
wild.
stories are insane. I mean, the stuff that I hear, I have heard, I don't think there's one thing that I have not heard. I mean, people calling about love, relationship, a missing child. I mean, I've had
Mm.
it all, guys. Yeah, all of the above.
It's
I've
incredible.
I've had people call me talking about their constipation, man. I mean, I'm telling you,
Oh
it's a one-stop shop, baby. It's the Happy Meal
Oh,
deal.
wow. That's really putting yourself out
I
there. Well,
know.
can you give me a little reading?
Yes. Let me tell you something right now, Laura. You're where you need to be right now. Your door is where it needs to be. You're writing books. I don't know if you've done this already, but it's
Yes,
there.
I'm writing a
And you're
book.
going to be
It's
writing to
oh
helping other
god.
people too. So you're going to be
Do you
coaching
need my
others.
birthday?
Nope, I'm already in your energy field. Yeah,
Oh
you gave me
shit.
that when I can stepped into your power and your 3 loved ones came in. Remember I said the 2 males and the female?
Yeah.
So I want to know who those 3 people are.
It's probably
It's grandfather. I already
I,
know that. That's a grandfather.
grandfather?
Yeah, that's
Is it a maternal or paternal?
no, it's yours, like blood related. Yeah,
My
100%. So this has got to be like your mom's, like your
my
mom's
mom's
grandfather, like father,
my mom's
grandfather.
father.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah,
it's your
yeah.
grandfather. So it
Okay.
would be your Your mom's dad. That's it.
My mom's
Yeah,
dad,
yeah. So he's
okay,
there.
and
And then there's a
that's
male.
interesting.
And then there's a male also, like a father figure coming in. Could that be your
Probably my
stepfather? Yeah,
stepfather.
because
Yeah, I
I
think
gotta say
so.
something to you. Did you not have a great relationship with your dad? I don't mean to go so deep and large because I really feel this love and connection with the stepfather really strong.
Yes, he was. You know what? I've just recently become close with my
I
dad
know
in
because
my
he's
later
got older
years.
and he's realized all the crap
Right.
he's put you through and others through. And no offense, girl, I say it like I see it.
Sure.
Okay.
No, yes, but my stepfather, I would have
Yeah,
considered my
that's your
father
father.
growing
Yeah,
up.
and your dad on this earth right now. I think that this is a karmic contract. Hey, just accept him for who he is. He was a great sperm
For
donor because
sure.
if it wasn't for him, your ass wouldn't be here, right, girl? So,
Yes, right,
on
right.
that note, that's
Eh,
fabulous. And because
yes,
you have this very deep soul, and by the way, your parents didn't even choose you, you chose them. Okay. This was
I
part
believe it.
of you coming back, and you've had so many lives. I keep seeing the numbers 3 3. Okay. So you've had 33
Uh-huh.
past lives here, Laura. And I
Yeah,
feel that as you kind of are going through this awakening, this aha moment, it's almost like you're connecting back with that 3-year-old little girl. It's amazing. Okay. So,
yes.
you've done whatever you've done, corporate America, you've done this, you've done that. You're kind of a mishmash. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You're just kind
exactly.
of like, took this and that and just kind of threw it in a pot and just kind of made it your own. But this is what's helped you at this point right now be the overachiever, not the underachiever. Okay. But I'm going to tell you the next 3 months, again, there's your three. I want you to look both ways before you cross. Okay. Look at your life as a red light. There's a green light. That means go. There is a red light. It means stop. And then there's a yellow light. It means proceed with caution. So the next 3 months, I need you to proceed with caution in every decision, everything you do, because I do feel like there is some negative forces around, unhealthy energy. So that means keep both hands on the wheel, even when you're driving. But I really want you to proceed with caution. I need you to take a deep full breath in and then learn to release and exhale that energy and don't let toxic energy take control. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're stepping into this power, but you have 3 months of kind of going through this cycle of kind of weirdness. Do you know what Mercury retrograde means?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to explain
Mercury
it? Just
retrograde is when all the planets start to pale backwards. They're basically spinning backwards because it's making you go through a life review. It's not Mercury retrograde, but in your world, the next 3 months is going to be Mercury retrograde. So you're going to feel like things are going
okay.
ass backwards. And because of that, you're going to feel that emotional disconnect, but also connect it. And as you're releasing old energy, you're coming into your new energy. So writing that book is going to be really amazing because it's really your story and your energy. It's you really unleashing that fire, that power. And because this is the year of the snake, it means shedding. So this book is actually more about you than others, but it's actually going to help you step into your power. And then you'll be writing more books and then helping other people kind of get their groove together to step into their power, if that makes any sense.
It does. And I'm writing the first draft and it's such a shit show right now. It's like, you know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a swirling pile of crap right now that do you have any advice for that or
Same thing. Clearing your thoughts. I would take your two right index fingers. So let's just say your right hand, and you want to get your two index fingers and you want to tap right here for 3 to 5 minutes before you start stepping into editing, putting it together, going to the next chapter. So really your energy, your own tuition is more channeling the book instead of thinking, this is
yes.
what I got to put in the book. No, you
Right.
never do that. My first book, I popped it out in 6 weeks. Listen, guys,
Right.
somebody told me years ago, I went and, did this expo that I was a keynote speaker at. I'm going back like, guys, I'm talking 25 years or more. Okay. And he looked at me and he started channeling me and he said, you're going to write a book and you're going to be blah, blah, blah all over the world and doing all this wonderful thing. I'm like, well, I don't know how much more time I'm going to have to give away. And I said, ha, ha, ha. I said, you're wrong. I'll never write a book because I can't freaking spell. I'm dyslexic. I could read, but I can't spell. Published out 2 books. It was all channeled. So exactly what he said happened, internationally with a TV show, a radio show, published author, same people who used to do Chicken Soup for the Soul, HCI is my publishing company. So, all these things just manifest. And I'll tell you what I have to do. I have to surrender, and I had to let go and let God and let spirit in order to allow my power to come in and just kind of like just go with it. There's no highs, there's no lows. And when you just kind of go with the flow and manifest, don't stop believing, just like that song, don't stop believing. You got to keep that energy going there, Laura. And when you got that vibration, you're just like a big old vibrator, baby, and feeling
Yep.
that energy. And right now, I think you need to take a break, honestly. Okay. So the best
Yeah.
thing that I can tell you intuitively right now, Laura, is to take a break, take a step back, and just really focus on your energy in your third chakra. I know it's all about the Gita today because it's all that rebirth process, right? And once you step
Yes.
in alignment, then that book will just come so naturally. You'll call me and say, Deborah, you were so right. It would just happen so
Yes.
easy and naturally because nothing should be that hard. When something's meant to be, it should just flow naturally and organically. And if there's roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, somebody upstairs, the universe, the metaverse, as I like to call it, the committee, is actually trying to tell you, whoa, take a step back and let's connect. So we are connected and figure out what is that one little blockage. And once you release that,
Yeah.
you're going to get released from it. And then the book is just going to fly.
Yeah, I agree. I've written things before and it was almost like I was just listening and then typing, right?
Right.
And I have a lot of the book that I really like, the part of my life story, but I'm trying to weave in the
So the
lessons
book is
from
your
the
life story.
yes, it
Okay,
is.
see, that's what
But
I
it's
said. It's about that
and that
3-year-old coming out, girl. Winner,
yes.
winner, chicken
Mhm.
dinner. Get her done.
Yes, you were absolutely right about that. And then I'm trying to braid through the lessons that I've learned from the podcast. And so that but I think you're right. I need to take a
So
step
what
back
got you
and
into wanting to do a podcast? What channeled you into that? We love hearing those
you
stories.
know, um the interesting thing is that found out I had heart disease. My heart chakra had heart
Mm.
disease, and I reversed my heart disease by following a whole food plant
There you
based
go.
diet.
So you did it. Oh my God. Winner, winner,
Yes.
chicken dinner. That happens. You have to take sometimes a step back or go through something in order to realize I'm here to help other people. I'm here to share my story and tell people I went through a letdown. You had heart disease and you reverted it. And
Hmm.
look at you. She's so healthy.
I just really got interested in health and aging well as I'm aging. I just wanted to bring all kinds of interesting
Right.
things to people
Right.
that could help them age. Our friends at Whole Harvest Meal Delivery Service have taken the hassle out of eating healthy. Now you can get delicious, whole food, plant-based, oil-free meals that are ready to heat and eat delivered to your home. The most recent menu has meals like burgers, penne alfredo, and red lentil tiki masala. Check out your choices at wholeharvest.com/badass and use coupon code BADASS at checkout for $20 off your first order. You can find this information in the show notes. The 6 secrets that you have to manifest health, wealth, and success. So maybe
Absolutely.
let's move
So
into
let's
that.
go into that. The first thing is to raise your financial vibration. That is number one. That is the key ingredient. Get off that loser magnet, thinking I'm poor. Stop hanging around poor people. Change the energy, feng shui your life, clear it out. Give yourself the spiritual enemas we talked about. Number one. Number two, actually take your future and start manifesting it as it has already happened. So write down key things that you want. I want to be successful. I am successful. I am this. I am that. So using your I ams, because when you put that intention, all of it comes together. Most people do a really bad thing where they'll go and they'll say, I need more money. You don't want to do it like that. You want to just say, I want to manifest wealth, health, and happiness. So when you're stable mentally and emotionally, you're able to give that energy back. So that's, key ingredient number two. Number three is to put a plant either in your office or in your waiting room or in your office area or in your area in your home when you're first walking in a money tree, because what that does is it actually helps raising the vibration, and also having live plants in the house too. That's like super key ingredient. So number four is to have crystals. I have crystals everywhere. I have like big ones, small ones. Clear crystal quartz is the crystal of choice because the clear crystal quartz brings clear intention. So, whether you want to go out and purchase one, buy one, I also channel them. You could go to psychicdeborahgraham.com and you can purchase them there, whatever works for you. But always having a clear crystal quartz in your home or in your office and also in your pockets. I always keep like a clear crystal quartz. A lot of people like wearing them and that's fine. But what
Uh,
I don't like is when people actually go and touch them and they're like, oh, how cool. Well, that was your energy and somebody just actually got in your space. So I would clear it by smudging it with either sage or Palo Santo or using frankincense or throwing it in the freezer, believe it or not, overnight that'll actually recharge it. So that's, key
oh,
ingredient number 4. Number 5 is to release the old trauma that you've been through. That's super important. So almost writing a Dear John letter to yourself, kind of how we told Kim, releasing the old, the worn out, and look at all your failures, writing them down, sending them back into the earth. Now that one needs to go into the earth. Super important to release that. Put it, same thing, 9 things, release them, let go of them, put them at the head of, at the foot of your bed, send that energy out. And then 9 days later, you cut it up and throw it down into the earth, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. But then what you do is you start writing down 9 intentions you want to manifest. So whether that be, a healthy business, financially, because as we're going through this whole financial, like, oh my God, what's happening? This is the greatest time right now to invest. Believe it or not, people think, oh my God, I'm scared. Why would you buy when things are high? Buy now because things are only going to go up. You're buying a house, interest rates have been lower. That was the time to buy. People were so afraid that they wouldn't buy. But when those interest rates go back up, down, and then the prices go back up, you're basically at the same place. So live out of your fears, get out of your head, get in touch with your gut. And then number 6, this is the most important one, is to always listen to your gut, listen to your own intuition, and follow your dreams. Don't give up on your dreams because your dreams will never, ever give up on you. And that's what it's all about. It's all about living, learning, and loving. But most of all, is trusting. When you trust the one you're with, then there is no impossibilities. Everything is whole, perfect, and complete. And that's how I look at life. To me, there's no problems, there's only a solution. And when people are trying to blame you for something that didn't go wrong, right, or the way they wanted it to, that's okay. That was part of a karma. Kind of like going back to Kim. She went through that betrayal. She went through all those things in her past, but Kim had to go through that in order to get her power back. So sometimes, a lesson learned is a lesson earned. And there they are.
yeah. Wow. That's that's a lot to take in. So yeah, how do you I feel like what, going back to
Uh-huh.
relationships, that a lot of people ignore red flags. And I feel like you also, I didn't tell you this. I was also a matchmaker. We have something in
Ah, I love
common.
that.
Uh, yeah, my mom and I, this is back before the internet. I had this business with my mom. Well, it was my business and she was like the facilitator. So it was a group blind date. It was called Eight Friends Out, and we'd match up 4 men and 4 women. We'd take them to dinner, and my Jewish mother was like the person who facilitated the dinners. I did it too, but she was
I
hysterical.
love
I mean,
it.
she would tell people how it was. Let me tell
And
you.
that's really what it
Um,
is. It's common sense. Go back to the old regiment. We're
yes.
so connected and yet we're so disconnected right now in our world that we're trying to, find that perfect relationship and then we keep swiping left and swiping right. Sometimes you just got to go out on those 3 dates within 3 months and have no sex for 3 months. That means just hug them, touch them, kiss them, but don't put the lizards in the lily pad or the lizard in the lizard and the lily in the lizzie. You got to kind of just get it done, girl. You got to go deep, you got to go large, but it's kind of like a chocolate cake. And I think you could agree with that. The more you wait, the more you're going to appreciate it. But if you just dive into something so quick, so fast, it may not be so indulging. So I always tell people to take it one step at a time and get out there and, date, go out, enjoy life. Life
So
is
no
short.
sex for 3
Yeah,
months
no,
when
that's
you're
a big one.
dating.
What do you think
Okay.
about that one, Laura?
I think that that's good. Especially, God, I don't know, it seems like a long time, but also I get that. I didn't have sex with my husband for a really long time, but when we were dating, I was so young. I was only 15 when I met him and he was 20. And so, talking about uh, past lives, I feel like when I met him, it was like I've known
Yeah,
him
you knew him
for
before.
100 lives. Yeah. A
Yeah.
million
No,
lives.
I totally can see that because you guys are twin flame soulmates and this is your forever, not your for now. I just think it's all about you right now, just working on your path, your career, working on your book. And I feel like that's kind of like your key to success. But what I
Yeah.
love, love, love about you is that you share your power, you share your energy, you're teaching people. And I mean, look at you, winner, winner, chicken dinner. You've been with the same man since 15 years old. Okay. How
Yeah.
many people
Mhm.
can actually say that in the matchmaking world? And I think there's a few out there we could actually
Right.
say that, they claim to be the best, but are they the best? Because the proof is in the pudding and they just don't have it. But when you have that relationship and you have that partnership, like my marriage was arranged. Okay. We had the big fat Greek wedding and, been together
Really?
with, 3 kids, 4 grandkids. And I mean, we've been married for over 30 years now. And that's what it's about. And when people see that unity and that relationship, they know that, okay, you've done it for yourself, you can do it for others. And I've matched, thousands
Yeah.
of people over my lifetime. And, that was great that you did that. Oh my God, you should step back into that
It
power. Maybe that might be your second book, girl.
Oh, dear God. It was so much fun, though. I loved it. It was really and it was quite successful. We still have people that are married to this day from
Isn't
that.
that
So,
amazing?
yeah, it is amazing. But what I was saying about is that I feel like people ignore red flags, and not only ignore red flags, that you teach people how to treat you. And I feel like some people are not good at about that. What do you say about that?
Well, people think that if I'm exactly what that person is looking for, then that person's really going to want me or love me. I always say, ignore the red flags, meaning that if that person speaks way too much about themselves and they say, I'm this, I'm that, and I've tried everything and I've given to my ex and that person was just horrible and they're just complaining. I usually say, run while you still got your head attached to your body because that's a complete narcissist. Okay. And you don't want to be with that energy. And if somebody is telling you again in a red flag that I really like you, but I wish you were blonde and you're a brunette, or I wish you would wear, not show so much and cover your legs, or some guys say, you know what, I want you to show more. If you want to do that, then by all means do it, but don't do it for someone else. Do it for yourself, and don't listen to somebody's negativity because if you bring that negativity in from a past relationship or a past life or a past karmic connection now, you're going to bring that negativity into your life and you're going to lower your vibration and lower your frequency. So you want to do what's going to make you feel good. And you want to see yourself with that person like 30 years down the road and knowing that that is a true soul connection.
Mhm. How do you know that though? Is it just something you feel? Is it again trusting your gut
Well,
that
going
you're
out there,
with the
the
right
dating
person?
scene is really tough right now because the problem
Yeah.
is there's too many choices. Because
Mhm.
before, like, look, you knew your guy, 15 years old, you guys connected together, you knew we're connected, we're going to be together, we're going to make this work. People do not do that. They're like, soon as one thing goes wrong, whoop, I'm going back on the dating website. And they'll do that purposely because they want to either piss off that person or they're just not so into you, because if somebody's really interested in you, they're going to make effort. They're going to make effort. And if they don't call you back, I say within 3 to 4 days after seeing them the first time, then that person's just not into you. And if
Right.
they're making up excuses about, oh, I'm busy or I can't make it, people got stuff going on. I get it. But if it's happening more than 3 times, that's a red flag, and that's another reason to
Mhm.
run. But when you feel a love with a person and you feel this true love twin flame, you're gonna know it. I can't explain it to you. It's kind of like the same way
Yeah.
you knew you had heart disease, you knew you had a heart attack. It's like love is the same thing. You just kind of it hurts. It freaking hurts. It does. And you
It
feel
does.
this energy. And sometimes people are not ready for a commitment right there and then. So I always tell people, be patient. Be patient. Something worth working on is worth waiting on. Maybe you found somebody and maybe they're not necessarily available right now, but be friends with them. Keep it in the friend zone, continue dating, going out. It's like a
Mhm.
pair of shoes. If they don't fit, don't wear them.
Right. Yes, I agree. I actually just told that to somebody that she really likes this guy, but he's not available right now. And I was like, and she really feels something for him. And I was like, well, just kind of, stay in touch. Just let him do what he needs to do. And it might be something down the road, like if she's really feeling it.
Right, exactly. Absolutely. And that was great advice, because she's feeling it and she's like, wow, I'm having a connection, or
Yeah.
they're feeling it, or whatever
She,
the case may be.
mhm.
But that person cannot necessarily give you what you need. It's about having that patience, and don't put pressure on somebody and be like,
No,
you're not
right.
calling me. You're not doing this. You're not doing this. You're not. Well, you know what? Nobody can stand up 100% to everybody's expectations. This is a big one too. And a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't realize I have to do that. I'm like, well, that's what it's like. And of course, I think Laura, you could agree with me 100% on this. Even though you're super busy, trying to be, everybody's go-to person, working, doing, but you take time to make time for your husband, correct?
Of
Okay.
course.
People have to realize a relationship, it's not 90% all about you, and you give 10%. It is a 50-50. That is the key problem that I have. Do you know how many people say,
Yeah.
well, I don't want a relationship then? Well, then you're not willing to give up 50% of your time, and maybe got to stop going to your Pilates, and maybe you're not going to constantly go out as much as you want it to go out, because if you're going to make time to take time, you have to be willing to give that person time and effort and energy to really
Of
connect
course.
together. Because the truth of the fact is, if you want them to make time for you, you have to set aside time. Just like a calendar, you have a spa day, or you have a meeting, or you have a phone call, you make time for your spouse, whatever that is. And sometimes you got to give a little
Yes.
head to get ahead, girl. You got to give it up.
That's right.
Woo!
That's right,
Go
girl.
deep, go large, get her
That's
done.
that's why we've been married over 30
I
years.
love it, girl. It's like a dog. If you don't freaking feed it, man, it's going to go find something else to yin yang it in.
Oh god. Oh god.
Help.
But you know what? Okay, so you're funny. You're funny. Yeah, I just feel like people back to, teaching people how to treat you though. I feel like with some people they get into these relationships and they let these people, they try to be too accommodating and the person's not giving them what they need,
Right.
and sometimes you have to walk away and you just have to be willing to stand up for yourself, advocate for yourself, walk away and say, you
Right.
know what, I really love you, but you are not treating me well, and I have to treat myself well
Right.
and walk away. Don't you think that that makes somebody really that's kind of what happened with me and my husband. I mean, even though we were very young, I think there was such a big age difference at a certain point. Now there's nothing
Right.
between us,
Right.
but 5 years when you're very young. I mean, it was until I was really like 19 years old that he took me seriously because I was a little kid. And, I had to tell him, look, you treat me like shit. You're a terrible boyfriend. I don't want to see you anymore. And he's like, well, I'm not your boyfriend.
There you go.
And I was like, well, you are to me. And so, it was that kind of
Yeah, and
thing. I
it's
think
almost
you have
like you
to,
have to have a breakup and then a makeup to really
right.
connect. And again, it's about patience. Right there, you did it. You see, the proof is in the pudding. You did it, girl. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
That's so funny. I can't believe you had an arranged marriage. That's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. And my dad and mom, they were arranged too. My dad married my mom, believe it or not. This is crazy, but he was 13 years old and she was 19. Yeah, way back in the day. Yeah, craziness.
Wait, they got married at that
I
age?
know, crazy.
Wait,
Yes,
13?
13 years old. Is that crazy or what? That should be like,
That's
I guess today it's called, what is it called? Abuse.
Yeah,
But
I think it's
50
called
years
statutory
ago,
rape,
yeah.
grooming. I don't know.
Yeah, believe it or
Yeah,
not. Yeah, they did it back
that's
in the day. And I
crazy.
guess my grandfather was super sick and he wanted to see his son married. And they did an arranged marriage. And then they had me at 14 years old and they stood together until they both died. I mean, literally. Yeah, they
Wow.
stood together. They made it work. And, those arranged marriages, sometimes that's kind of what I do. I kind of see what I see. And, of course, I always tell you, you got to be at least 18 years old to give me a call to
Yeah.
connect with me. We don't do 13, girl, but you got to be at least 18 years old to ask the question, get the answer, and also be connected or get a reading or the whole
Yeah.
thing of connection. But
Okay.
the truth is, when you do have somebody helping you to kind of like look through and say, this is a waste of time and energy, but
Mhm.
you have a karmic contract, complete that with that person, and then move on and find a person that you're supposed to be with. Life is short, because when you're gone, you don't want to have to come back and do this again because life is short. Like today, we're here,
Yes.
tomorrow, we're going. And we say this all the time. But how many of us actually take action to step into our power? Not many. We
Yeah.
say it, but we don't do it. So this is the year of yes. This is the yes year, believe it or not, because it's 100-year ascension changing of all these planets. As you know, they've lined it up. See, I'm burping again. It's so powerful
Oh,
energy.
burping on the truth.
Yeah. And they all lined it up and they all came together at a very high vibration. And it's all about changes. It's all about stepping into your power. It's about everything just channeling and changes. Because if we didn't go through changes, let's just go back to caveman day. We wouldn't have cars. We wouldn't have planes. Heck, we wouldn't have electricity, right? So we have to go through
Yeah.
changes. And, back in the day and even now, we're still not wanting change. But unfortunately, we need change. People need to use their voices. People need to open themselves up to make changes because we're ascending right now, like a major ascension in this year of 25. So this is the year of yes. Yes, I can. Yes, I am. Yes, I will. So as you're in this year and all the planets are in lining, they're actually giving us a gift to actually work on our own intentions on what we came here to learn. Don't worry what other
Really?
people are doing to you or what's happening even in your workforce because there's so much adult bullying that goes on right now. I get a lot of those calls too. And there's so many people that are just upset. Like, why is this person treating me like this? No. Why are you allowing them to treat you like this? It's not them. You're
Right.
letting them do that. So step away from that energy, step into your power and be yes for you, not for them.
So the planets are in alignment for things to happen for us this
Yeah.
year,
Five.
2025.
Yeah. This is a major
Okay.
ascension year. It's like a whole 100 years of changes. It's like a whole nother major shift. And of course, you don't got to be a psychic like me to see it. It's pretty black and white and it's changing. But as things are changing, it's about people connecting deeper together and fighting for their belief system and what they really want.
Interesting. Um, and I just want to go back like a little bit more to manifesting your health, um, because do you believe in? So you do believe in going to the doctor and getting like mammograms
Yes,
and
I believe
preventative,
in it
all that
all.
kind of
Yes,
stuff, but
absolutely. But I also believe in
then
you taking care of yourself and taking care of whatever the situation is. Yeah, I went to no joke when I was having the situation. I went to no joke about 30 or 40 doctors. I mean, I went to like, the head of like the chief of staff of like 50 years and checking me. And he's like, there's something here. But unfortunately, I don't know what it is. So, you need to go to another doctor, try this, try that. And then finally I said, after going to so many doctors, they're like, we think it's this, but we don't know it is. I says, you're actually going to tell me you want me to take a prescription or take a medication on assumption, and basically you're treating symptoms, not actually what it is. And they said yes.
right.
I says, thank you, but no thank you. So that's when I stepped back into my power, meditating, clearing, doing energy work myself and with my healers. This is what I do. And acupuncture, eating healthy. I am a firm, listen, I'm going to say truthfully, the first 2 months, that whole thing with the celery juicing, I was like, that thing is not doing anything. I felt more swollen and my urine was smelling. I was like, what the hell is this? This is disgusting. But I have to tell you, it took so many toxins out of my body. It
Oh,
works. It really does work. Is it going to be your key ingredient to work? No, but it worked. And eating
so
healthy,
juicing celery juice every
yeah,
morning.
celery juice. I do lemon juicing. I, meditate. I clear my energy. I clear out all the bad stuff that's around me. I put a shield around me whenever I'm entering a room with a client or whatever it may be, because people may not think or know that they're being energetically attacked by something or someone. So I always have to protect my energy because I go deep and large. I'm very different than most psychics or mediums. I don't look at you, I become you. So most people just read the energy around what's going on and they don't actually go into the soul. I actually go into the soul and I become your energy. And a lot of people don't like that. I tell people my warning is you may not hear what you want to hear, but you're going to hear what you need to hear. And
Okay.
again, it's all about stepping back into your power and really just recharging the energy. And that's what it's about. So, oh, yeah, I definitely believe in the Eastern and the Western, 100%. Firm
Okay.
believer in all of that. I go every year, even though, a doctor may say, I've had clients come into me and say, I just had a mammogram. I'm like, listen to me. I'm not a doctor, but I'm a spiritual, mental, spiritual, intuitive and looking into your soul. I like to say I'm like a radar going through your body for like 30 seconds and scanning you, right? Because that's how quick the information comes. It's like boom, 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 and I have to get it out. And I'll tell them, I see something. I'm not a doctor, but I see something. So just go back. So, of course, they'll be like, this is going to sound crazy. I went to a psychic. I had a reading. She said there's something there. They said, well, we just did it. We don't see anything, but let's check. They'll check. And unfortunately, I've been
It's
right.
there.
Okay. So, always, if something doesn't feel right, do something, say something. Go to your doctors, check yourself out. Don't wait for yourself to just be like, it'll go away. You have to put effort. You got to take care of yourself. And I don't care how great in shape you are physically. It's the mental, it's the energy.
Yes.
It's an energy. I call it like a bad, diseased energy.
Mhm. And so just concentrating on bringing in positive energy and cleansing yourself, Palo Santo and smudging and meditating
Yes.
and then can you also write down your affirmations for health that
Yeah,
way, the 9
absolutely. If you're
affirmations?
having health issues, throw them in the negative and throw them in the pool. Get rid of it, release it, throw it in the toilet, flush it down, let go.
So how do you do that again? You
Again,
write them all
you take
down?
your just like I told Kim earlier, she needed
Red
to
pen?
release, get a white sheet of paper, get some red ink because the red is the first chakra. So that's basically rooting you and grounding you. So you're basically
Mhm.
standing on your own intentions and your own power. So it's a power source of energy and vibration. You write down those intentions on releasing those. Otherwise, like
Starting at the
at
bottom
the
of the
bottom of the
page,
page, going up,
going
and
up.
basically just saying, I'm releasing this. I'm not accepting this. This is not accept in my body, in my cell, in my energy. I'm going to revert it and release it and let it go. And then, you just write it down, whether it's a health issue you're dealing with, emotional issue, even if it's something going on with your kids. I've healed my own kids from traumas and stuff. Like my mom came to me, God bless her soul. I didn't even know this, but my daughter thought right after she had her baby that she had a virus. She didn't have a virus. My mom came to me and told me basically that there was something going on inside of her body and she needed to get to the hospital ASAP. So at 5:30 in the morning, I woke up out of a dream. 6 o'clock, I called my daughter. I said, you don't have a virus. You're going to the hospital right now. I said, your grandmother came to me in the dream. And I always say, when the dead speaks, you better freaking listen. So
Mhm.
I was like, wow, what is happening here? And of course, I wasn't there with her, but she went to the doctor and she had a 5 millimeter kidney stone lodged and she was going sepsis. And the doctor said, thank God she came here. She could have been dead in 2 hours or her organs all were
Oh my
failing. Yeah,
god.
no, it was bad. Her whole body was failing. She just thought she had a really bad virus. So you got to pay attention to your body. Listen, the doctors can do only so much, but you have to do so much too. It's kind of like, what's that story where the guy, he was on top of a roof, there was a flood, and he said, God, you're going to save me, right? So, somebody came with a boat. He says, nope, God's saving me. Somebody came with a car, or whatever the case may be. Nope, God's saving me. So then he died and he said, God, what the heck? Why didn't you save me? Well, I put people in your path. I was there trying to help you, but
Right.
you just didn't pay attention. So God,
Yep.
Allah, master, teacher, creator, the committee will
Right.
always lead you. But you have to also do your own work too, and even doctors,
Yes.
they can help you, but you got to pay attention. It's kind of like you go to a
Gotta
doctor, they
do it.
say, eat better, eat healthier. Absolutely, I believe that. But I think a lot of it is more mental than physical.
Mhm.
And then when you get the
There's a lot.
mental, the physical, the weight will just go off. It'll come off. The weight will
Right.
come off. The
Yep.
anxiety will go away. Or if you're having to have weight gain, because of whatever it is, trauma. A lot of people don't know about this. This is a big kicker. It sometimes is in our family's lineage, it's in our DNA. And it
Yes.
sometimes can be an ancestral energy that's basically attached to you or some kind of karma that you've dealt with. And that's another thing I do is energy clearing to help people basically figure that out. And the normal physician can't do that. So sometimes you have to figure out intuitively what's happening.
Right. That's yes. I believe that's like a karmic thing and you hold on to it
Yeah.
and you have to do what, a cord cutting or a clearing or
Yeah, there's all
something?
sorts of
Yeah.
things. It
And you can
depends
do
what you're
that.
going through. It depends what the situation may be. Like, what is that person? What is happening? What is, again,
Yeah. With
intuitively, what is
mhm.
happening inside of your body that you have to purge out? And then, a lot of us don't want to have to come back in our next life and do it again. But
Right.
unfortunately, if you don't get it right in this life, you will have to come back to do it again in order to clear that energy and go through transformation. That's why
Right.
meditation, breath work, inhaling, exhale, hug a tree. Those are the things I tell a lot of people. I know it sounds insane. Go
No,
outside
I
and hug a
believe you.
tree. Well, listen, trees have life. There's energy. And it's like if you look at the
Yes.
trees out there in the wilderness, you know, when one tree is sick, the other trees nurture them because they're rooted all
Yes,
back
through the
together.
root system.
This is like,
Yes.
look, the universe has a way of healing every single thing. So why can't
You're
we do
absolutely
that as
right.
human beings? Why can't we heal ourselves and heal others?
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, the mind is a huge thing. And I think just writing it down, like you said.
Right.
Now, when you write down your list on your white paper with your red pen, do you have to also keep it at the foot of your bed for 9 days
Well, the
still?
one that's
Or
negative, the negative list goes at the
the negative
feet
one,
of the
foot of the
bed,
bed
the
for nine
positive for 9
days?
days, and then you cut it up and you burn it. Burn it is the first
Okay.
way that I would say do it. Of course, don't hurt yourself or burn yourself. But at
Yeah.
also the other way to do it too, you can flush it into the toilet and
Okay.
just say, let
And
it go, cleanse it
anything
out. The
positive
positive goes at
that
the
you're
head.
okay. Do you also still do it in
Yeah,
red?
of course, because you're setting
Do you
intentions.
still start at the bottom?
Well, you know, it's interesting you said that. You would start from the top to the
Top.
bottom
Okay, that's
because
what I
it's
thought.
bringing
Bringing
forward the intentions forward towards you. You don't, the ones you want to release, you start from the bottom, let go, let spirit release that. The ones that you want to actually bring in and the awareness, you want to start from the top to the bottom. And then you put that at the head of the bed. So you're moving that energy upwards and forward and towards you. So you're actually setting those intentions and
okay.
then just keep them with you as you're manifesting.
Yeah.
You know, and
And that you don't get rid of.
no,
That
because
you
that's your
keep.
positive. You want to keep that. That's
Your
kind of like your
positive
lucky
thing.
charm. And, you know, I would set those intentions. I always tell people right about the new year to set those intentions. That's what I teach a lot of my, you know, clients, whether they're doing a workshop, whether they're doing healing, whatever it may be, or just the general reading and they need some information on that. I'll tell them to get their self like their happy box and put all their happy memories in. And then you have your negative thoughts like, oh, I'm really angry today. Write them down with a little sticky note, put them in there. And then once a month, take that little box, tear it up, and put it into the earth. Let it go. Because you know what?
Mhm.
Chances are 30 days from now, you're not going to be so pissed off at what you were pissed off at.
That's good. Well, thank you. I hope that people will reach out to you at it's what is it again?
They're
Psychic.
psychicdeborahgraham.com. That's psychicdeborahgraham.com if you want to book your own one-on-one psychic reading. And also they're going to get 50% off. Just mention they were on the show with Laura and they will get the 50% off one-on-one. Or if
Okay.
they want to be a live guest on the Psychic Connection podcast. Again, you can stream it anywhere, anyplace, anytime. They could go also to Psychic Deborah Graham and just say, I want to be a live guest on Deborah's podcast. Then we'll sign you up.
That's awesome. Thank you so
No,
much for
thank
all you have
you. You're
shared.
amazing, Laura.
It's
I
been
love your aura. I
fun.
love your energy. And I hope to get back with you sometime,
Thank
girl.
you. Oh, I would love that.
Thank
Thank
you. Peace be
you.
with you.
Take
Be well.
care. You
Bye
too.
bye.
Thanks for listening, friend. From my heart to yours, be well until we meet again.